All right, make sure you guys have high energy because it's early in the morning.
No, we're ready. You make sure you have energy.
No, I just woke up, but no. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Influence Me. As you guys can see, the set is a little changed, but that's because we have three very, very special guests. With us today, we got Denise, Judith, and Lupe in the motherfucking house. Welcome, girls.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous because son tres, and it's just me right here. And my obviously
tres desmadrosas. It's not like just three.
Well,
3.5, porque Lupe está chiquita.
¿Y qué tiene?
See, the bullying starts, and well, what about me? You're gonna come after me.
Estamos calentando motores.
Well, welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys making the drive. You guys are from Victorville and
Rancho,
Ontario. So you're the furthest.
Me, I'm the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I came from Hesperia. Más bien, it's nicer than Victorville. I don't want to be like, cancel.
So she drove.
But I drove all the way. But I stay at Lupe's house. So para dormirme y todo. Y
Para
dije,
que no tenga las ojeras.
Like, tengo que usar mi eye concealer y todo. Hay un chingo ahí. But yeah, like, me vine en la noche. It was like around 11. I got to her house and we were chilling for a little bit. And then I woke up. We're ready?
We're like, we're ready.
And he's like, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? I'm like, yes.
That's good.
I'm the mom of the group.
Yeah, she's the mom.
Like,
she's always making sure that we're on time, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm always late, though. All the time.
That's why we're like, you need to sleep over Lupe's house.
Let me tell you. Okay, so
bad.
when we first got, when Denise first told us about this, she said, oh, we're going to meet him at 9. And then one day we were driving over to Judith's house. And I was like, Denise, did you tell Judith the wrong time? Because
we lied to her.
We lied.
I should have said 8.
I felt offended.
But I was like so like excited and nervous. I was like, okay, guys, it's confirmed 9. Right when I texted that, I was like, I messed up. I should have said 8.
You should have said 8.
Yeah,
just to make sure.
But I made it, guys. See?
No, I was a little late. I was 5 minutes late. I'm not gonna lie. I was late.
Pero acá estamos.
You guys are good.
Ya me ganó.
So let's I want everyone to get to know you guys. So let's let them know how we got connected. You reached out, right? Obviously from the page. You guys are a podcast, up and coming podcast group.
Yes.
Latina driven. You're a mom.
Yes.
Yours.
She's like, no.
Okay, so you reached out and I saw your guys' podcast. You asked to like look at and check out your podcast. You guys, the first video that I saw, it was the one where you were talking about like a story, like a very personal story about your school. And then you started playing the fucking...
Wait, I couldn't have my moment.
That got me. I was like, dude, I connected instantly. And I was like, you guys are so fucking funny.
No
you
puedo
guys
llorar a gusto con ella. Yo no puedo tener like a sad moment porque...
For me, it's always, I need to make it like funny. Like a moment, I know it's sad and everything, but like... I'm not an emotional person.
Right.
So I'm like, I try, but in a funny way.
Right. No, but it was funny. It was totally funny. So that's what got me. And so I really wanted for everyone to get to know you guys. And if we can do anything to make sure your guys' podcast pops and stuff, let's do it, you know? So let's start by talking about you guys individual. Starting with you, how old are you and where'd you grow up?
No, let me just say this really quick.
She's 40.
We always laugh at our ages because she's the youngest, so she always makes it known.
I've seen.
I've
seen.
¿Ya ves? Él sabe. I'm 31.
31.
I was born in LA. I was born out here. Moved to the Inland Empire Middle School, and I mean, I've had all kinds of struggles. I grew up with a single mom. She worked hard. She worked really hard. Throughout my whole life, she always made it very known that education was like the priority. Education. Like, uno viene a este país para triunfar, estudiar, etc., right? So that's kind of like what I did, regardless of what we were going through. And like I said, I grew up really poor. We lost our home at one point. We all got separated. I was living with a friend. My mom came back out here in LA. So it was a rough time, but I knew that I had to do what I had to do, meaning education. So that's kind of what I did. I got my bachelor's, I got my master's. But things didn't always go as I planned, as far as like, once I got educated, I'm gonna have this job, I'm gonna do this. You know, I had a
dream?
a turn of events, and my plans didn't go as I thought they would. So then, you know, I fell into like a depression, and that's kind of like where I was when we first started the podcast. But I have a son. His birthday's on Saturday, so he'll be 7 years old. So shout out to my son.
Everyone say happy birthday down
I know,
below.
say happy birthday to my Tiago. But yeah, that's kind of basically a little rundown on me.
Wow. Oh, that got deep.
Yeah.
I know, y ahora llevas a desmadre.
Madre. Well, my name is Judith. Ya lo dije. Yo tengo apenas, no quiero decir mía, 30. Ya me duele la espalda, ya me duele todo. So I just barely turned 30 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. On
Okay,
Tuesday.
happy birthday to
Yeah,
her.
okay, happy birthday. Late happy birthday. Thank you.
30.
Yeah, hace 2 días, the 27th. So I was born here in Moncler, actually, and I moved out to Mexico when I was 5 years old. Y ya, pues allá crecí todo. Like, that's why, like, most of the time I speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Because obviously, pues, fue mi primer lenguaje and everything. Y ya, we moved over here cuando tenía, I would say, like, 13 or 14. I don't really remember, but iba a cumplir, like, I think 14. So we moved over here. But, you know, same as Denise, a better future, blah, blah, blah. My sister, she's a special needs kid. So, obviamente allá en Mexico, well, unfortunately, there are no resources, help y todo eso. So that's why my mom and my dad were like, no, let's go over there. She's born here, like she was born here, so por eso tenía la ayuda, blah, blah. So, yeah, basically, well, ya me metí a la escuela, like, I made friends. We moved to, ¿cómo se llama? Rialto. That's where when we first came over here, it was Rialto before we moved out to Hesperia. Y entré a una escuela I was in middle school, and it was puro español. Era puro paisa. Like, todos los que venían de Colombia, like Puerto Rico, de todos los latinos que no hablamos inglés, ahí nos enseñaban, right? So, obviously, that year, I didn't learn English. Because it was only Spanish. It was only Spanish.
Pero de aquí soy, de aquí soy.
De aquí soy.
Yo me sentía soñada. Todavía sigo en México.
Yeah.
So then, ya entré a la escuela, a la high school, y ya fue cuando, I was struggling a little bit with the English, obviously, pero de todos modos, like, the counselor nos ponía en grupitos, and then, pues me sentía, like, como si estuviera en casa, right?
Right.
Y ya, we moved out to Hesperia porque, it was cheaper, and, you know, like, the houses were, like, expensive down here. Más oportunidades.
Así se ve más bonito.
Sí, cierto. And yeah, pues aquí andamos. Like, and then when Denise, I met them, and then we were talking about, like, okay, let's do a podcast, and, you know, like, let's get together. Y ya conseguimos un estudio, which is my house. Y ahí, pues ahí andamos.
Echándole ganas.
Echándole ganas.
What about you, Lupe?
So, I was born in Pomona. So I lived in Pomona for roughly 22 years of my life before we moved to Ontario. Same thing, grew up in an immigrant household. My parents worked, well, more particularly my dad, he worked a lot. Like, he has his own, like, gardening business. And so, like, right now I'm very thankful that, you know, his business has gone really well. But, like, growing up, it wasn't always like that. And so, like, you know, I think we've touched base on it, but before, I'm not sure if it was in the podcast or not, but, like, just the different ways that one, like, the older sibling is raised versus, like, the younger sibling, right? So definitely, you know, my childhood was a lot different than my little brother's childhood because he didn't see as much struggle as we did. I'm not saying we never struggled, but, like, now that he's older, but, you know, it definitely is different. So born and raised in Pomona. I did attend Catholic school up until high school. In high school, we did like district of choice. So then my parents, they always push education, and that's kind of the reasons why they sent us to like a private school the first years, and then after that they moved us out of our like district of Pomona. No shade or anything, but that's just they.
But
shade.
Like, when they say that, it's shade.
Those weren't my choices. Those were my parents' choices, and they believed in doing that because of the education system, and they're always like, ponte a estudiar, ponte las pilas, get your shit done, So my parents, they've always been like that, like, okay, school. At one point after high school, I decided not to attend a 4-year university. I went to community college, and at that point, my parents were pretty upset because they were like so like happy and so like emotional that somebody was actually going to like a 4-year university. But the loans and like I was planning to go up north, and it was a lot of money, and I didn't want my parents to take out a mortgage on the house, or I didn't want them to like get those extra debts because of me. So I had decided to go to community college. And honestly, I loved my time at community college. I went to Mount Sac, if you guys are familiar with it, for my first 2 years, and then I transferred out into Cal State San Bernardino. Which, fun fact, we all went to Cal State San Bernardino.
Oh yeah,
yeah, just not at the same time.
Oh, okay.
You see, no.
So ¿cuántos años tiene?
Class of 2018.
Make sure you zoom in on that one because she's very proud. A ver, ¿cuántos
Pero se
años?
mira más vieja que nosotras. No, we're
Yo
good.
soy la mamá, look at me thriving.
But yeah, definitely they pushed education with us. Got my master's along with them. That's how our friendship grew.
So how did you guys meet? How was that?
We worked together in the same company, which then we went to school. Like they provided the master's courses there, so we all took it at the same time. Like we knew each other, but we didn't really talk in that level until our master's courses.
I tried to talk to Judith like the first few days, and she did not like me. I was like, no.
Judith was like,
Judith hated all of us.
No, Judith.
Yeah, like with me, it's always like that. Like siempre como que me caen gordos al principio.
Oh, so te caigo gordo.
Yeah.
Ya me caes bien.
She needs a second to warm up. When she met me, I had purple hair. Like my whole head was purple. And she was like, ay, esa naca. But then she found out I spoke Spanish because I think I surprised a lot of people when I speak
Honestly,
Spanish.
me too. When
Well, she looks chinita.
Yeah,
I thought she was Filipina.
Then I started talking to her in Spanish, and she was like, ay, si va a ser mi amiga, because she feels
Sí,
comfortable with
Yeah.
Spanish-speaking people. And I was like, ay, ni le hubiera hablado.
Te mueres sin mí.
No soy nada sin ti.
Yo te creé.
All right. But yeah, we met in our master's courses.
And
Yeah.
what about the podcast? Because it goes from meeting each other to now, you guys have a really, really good chemistry, and you guys get along like really, really good. So who came up with that idea of the podcast?
Honestly, I think that we all I feel like all of us were going through some kind of a change in our life, new jobs, new opportunities, just some kind of a change. Some happy moments, some sad moments, whatever it was. But we always go ahead.
Sorry que te interrumpa. At the beginning, we were like, let's record, because every time we would do something funny. Like,
Es un desmadre.
Like, for real. Like, cada que salíamos a comer, y pues ya
Siempre
sabes.
pasaba algo.
Siempre pasaba, we were like, we should be recording. Like, para empezar a hacernos viral y bla, bla, bla. And we were like, yeah. Pero nunca, nadie grababa, nunca nada. So one day we decided, no?
Yeah, we were like,
let's
you know
start.
What? It would be a good opportunity. There's 3 different people that we were raised differently. We have 3 different perspectives in life. What better? Because I feel like what I like to do when I watch people is connect. How can I relate to you? You know what I mean? And I think you guys will definitely at least relate to one of them. Even with our comments, our DMs, people are like, oh my God, I love Lupe. Oh my God, I love Judith. She's so funny. Or I love Denise. Oh my God, this and that. So I think that was the whole reasoning. Like, man, we could bring something cool to the table. And then our moments.
And it's funny because you're like, you think that it only happens to you, pero ya cuando lo dices, it happens to someone else.
Yeah,
And you're like,
right.
wow, no nomás soy yo.
Yeah.
So no nomás mi mamá me pegaba. Más si estás viendo eso.
La mía también.
La de Lupe te pegaban.
No, a mí no me pegaron.
Ya ves?
Sí,
Pretty different.
no.
Siempre. Ella es la mejor. No, but yeah, I feel like having the 3 different perspectives, just where we were at life, we were like, you know what? We always talk about like, let's record ourselves. Let's do this. Let's just do it. And we did.
And especially since, well, tú eres salvadoreña,
De Salvador.
yo mexicana, y Lupe pues es mexicana y costarriqueña, right? Well, no sé si es de costarriqueña, I'm sorry. Corríjanme los de Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how se dice. Pero yeah, like everybody is like different, pues. That's como la forma that we were raised and everything. It's kind of similar, but different at the same time. Y por eso we were like, what?
We're like, let's
Why
just
not?
do
Let's
it.
just do it.
And we just share
It did take a while to start, though.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I think we were like, okay.
Cuando
And
comienza
then
el año.
¿Cuándo?
We're like, when the
And
year
just to
starts.
find that time, though. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
Life got really busy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because
Cada
you
quien
live
tiene
you
su
live
schedule.
more further, so it's
Yeah.
a little bit of a commitment, right? To start something like that.
We just knew in the beginning, and we had this conversation because after we decided, like, okay, we're gonna do this. Our thing was like, we have to be consistent. Like, if we're gonna do this, we're not just gonna post one video or one whatever it is, and then nos perdimos. No, we're gonna have to do this. So we set a time, like when it's our posting time. So it's every Thursday at 10. I believe we made our page like February, but we didn't start posting till like April or something like end of
This year?
April.
This
Yeah,
year,
And then we've been consistent ever since. Like, we have not missed a day.
Shout out to Denise for keeping it consistent, because
So ¿quién es la que? So you're the one that makes every like a structure, basically.
Yes,
Yes,
más o menos, yeah.
No quería decirlo, pero...
No, sí, pero
I didn't want to talk
es
shit.
nuestra Kris Jenner.
Vamos a salir mal. If we don't have another video after this, ya nos peleamos.
Denise always says she's gonna pimp us out.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm a Kris Jenner. I said, you think I'm doing this for free? No, I'm a 10%, you guys.
10%
very
everyone?
soon. Very soon. So Kris Jenner, if you're watching.
¿Y quién es la más dejada?
Es la
No. In terms of like, you have to like convince her a little bit more to like, you know.
Oh, Lupe.
Yo dije, esta
Yeah.
Yeah, Lupe.
Yeah.
That's just for like.
No, yeah,
okay.
with Lupe, like, wait, vamos a hacer esto. Like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm the more structure. I'm like the mom, and I think they always say like, oh my God, Judith and Denise are the loudest, the this, the that. Like, we're more whatever, and she's the calm one. But I think in reality, like, I'm the one that kind of like, I'm stuck in the middle, and I'm always the one like, hey guys, let's do this. When can we do this? Let's set up a time. Hey, confirming that we're gonna do this at this time. So it's kind of like I'm the mom. I'm their manager. 10%.
Yeah, she's quiet, but when she talks though,
No se calla.
she has
Ay,
like like her
sigue.
moments, you know. So
That's
it's good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
That's why I told you. Waver
She's
down.
like, again,
También
she-
Es una bully, pero dicen que no.
she's just low key.
she's a silent assassin.
So
Mosquita muerta.
let's talk about your guys' podcast setup. Like,
Okay.
¿Cuál?
No tenemos.
Andamos ahí.
no, I want to bring it up. I want to bring it up because it's so fucking dope that you guys don't give a fuck about it yet. Obviously, I'm pretty
have
sure you
dreams.
guys would want it to get all nice and everything, but you guys started it without, you know, any excuses.
Nada.
You know what I mean? And that's the reason why I really wanted to bring you on, because more than anything was that when I went to check out your stuff after you told me, I was like, okay, I was looking for the latest video. I honestly thought, not to talk shit, but I honestly thought that those were old videos. And I was like, oh, you know, like, you know, I'm
Ya
looking for the new video.
progresaron.
Yeah.
You're like, is my internet not working?
But when I started seeing that there's a bed next to the set,
You were trying to hide it?
I was like, dude, that's so fucking dope. Because I'm 32.
Ay, ya te doy la espalda.
32. I'm gonna turn 32 next month. But and I started this late as well. I mean, not late, but I started this now. Usually people that are starting podcasts, they're really young.
Younger,
They have the
yeah.
TikToks. They can go viral. They connect more with the younger crowd,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
the younger people right now are on social media. So I even thought to myself when I started this, I was like, I don't even know if like my age group is gonna be watching or
yeah.
interested in what I have to say. So when I saw you guys, I was like, that's dope.
No, de aquí para
Yeah.
So that's what really caught my attention from you guys. So talk to me about that. The what goes into like where'd you guys get that confidence to be like, you know what, we don't give a fuck about how our podcast looks. We have hope and we have belief in ourselves that one day it's gonna come to be like how we want it to be.
Le pedimos a Dios. Now, I think after having, like I said, that conversation, it was like, all right, where are we going to do it? Our only like option, and I mean, thankfully, we appreciate, you know, Judith and her family for letting us film there, was, you know, there was an extra room at the time at Judith's house. So we were like, all right, this is it. And again, we had nothing fancy. Like, we don't have mics. We don't have anything. We just have that drive that we want to relate to anyone and everyone. You know what I mean? And just poquito a poquito, you know, we've been getting somewhere, you know what I mean? We've met different kind of people through, even though we're a small page, you know, we don't have that large following, but we have connected with some people, you know? So I think that's what we did. And we were like, pues no tenemos nada, no tenemos fancy mics, no tenemos ni madres, just nosotras tres desmadrosas.
And honestly, majority of our things too was like, Judith de otro already had it. She's like, I bought a camera like years ago.
Time out. Judith spends for no reason. She buys stuff.
Oh my God.
Pero lo bueno
Amazon
que a esto no salió bien. Esta purchase de la pinche cámara no salió bien ese
Okay,
jale.
but let me tell you why I had the camera though. I wanted to be a photographer when I was in college.
Le duró como 2
Pero me
segundos.
duró como 3 días.
Yeah. So once we started doing that, we were like, all right, you know, and then just recently, you know, the room is no longer available. So again, we wanted to keep our consistency. Like, we very much believe in ourselves and what we have to offer. So we were like, well, let's figure it out. So we tried different things. We film in the car. We film in wherever we can on our way here.
Mini vlogs.
Mini vlogs. Like, we're just trying it out. All we want is the consistency to show people that we're here to stay. We're going to keep trying, and we just want people to enjoy our content.
Very inspiring, though. Very, very, like, how do you say that word?
Chingonas.
Chingonas, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, yeah. Chingonas. What goes into the decision of making the podcast about like Latina, you know, motivating them, and that seems like you guys have your personal, you know, struggles. Is that the case?
I mean, I think that's all we know. Like, we're Latinas, and as friends, we conversate and we relate on a certain level. Obviously, I've been through things in my life that they can't necessarily relate, and vice versa. So that's kind of like the thing. Let's just talk about life. Let's talk about our experiences. Let's talk about just everything that we've been through, good and bad. We do random stuff too. Like, if we see something trending, we're like, let's try it. A ver cómo nos sale, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we do it.
So what do you guys currently do for work?
You want to start, Lupe?
Oh, okay. I guess I'll start.
I'm like,
So currently right now, I work in the ABA field. I'm a supervisor, like casework manager. So I oversee cases and program development for kids or people on the spectrum, or just with disabilities in general, because not everybody I work on is on the spectrum. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Age range from like I have a 1-year-old. One to like, I think the oldest person I see is like 20, 22.
Okay.
So it's just program development to help them, whether it's with the daily living skills, whether it's with communication,
skills,
you know. I do like the program development for it.
Okay.
Y pues yo the same, with different company. Yeah, we do the same. We actually, like how Denise mentioned, we met through work. We were working at the same company. Y ya, like, pues ya cada quien, like, once we finish our masters, pues cada quien siguió su rumbo. Lupe una company, me a different company, but doing the same thing. I'm a supervisor as well, doing exactly the same thing.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
y pues yo, algo muy diferente.
Casi the same.
No, I used to work doing the similar things as them, but when I left my work almost a year ago, I decided to start my own business with my family. So I do something extremely different. I went from working with kids and just adults and things like that to now selling tools for a business. So me, my son's dad, and my son, we started our own business. We sell tools, and yeah.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Was it
So if
scary?
you need tools, hit her up.
Yes. Yeah, if you need tools, hit me up. Link down below. Te gané. It was very scary. I think, like I said, coming here, at least for me, for my family, my mom has always worked for someone. So especially in this time, starting your own business, it's scary. Like, you know, with COVID and everything that's happened, there's been a lot of scary moments, a lot of financial risk that we took. I mean, even people that, shout out to my mom, but she was like, ¿estás mensa? ¿Cómo no? Ahorita no es el tiempo. Like, tienes que pensar en tu hijo, sacrificio, and it's like, no, mom, like, I really believe in this. I know that right now it's a scary time, it's a scary moment, but I believe in this. Like, and I think for her hearing me say that, because I'm not always that high of a spirit, I'm not always so positive. So her hearing like, no, I'm doing this, she's like, either she lost it or maybe she got something going on. She's still not sure, but it was scary. It is scary still, but I believe in my family. I know we're going to get there.
And you mentioned you have a husband, a boyfriend, or that baby daddy.
Estoy casada.
Baby daddy.
Yeah.
You are también engaged, babies?
Nada. Soltera ahí.
DM her.
Yeah, DM me. Sugar daddies.
No quiere compromiso. No compromiso. Just
no kids, no boyfriend, no nothing.
Okay. You too?
I do have a boyfriend.
You don't have a boyfriend? No kids?
No kids.
Okay. Why the tools?
So when I was working with them, my son's dad, my boyfriend, started the business, but he couldn't push it just himself. He needed help. So I think when I decided to leave where I was at, I was kind of lost. Like, I was like, damn, I got my master's. I did school. I did everything that I was supposed to do. Like, but I don't want to do that anymore. So what now? So he was like, hey, let's try it out. Let's give it a year or two, try it out, see if it works. And that's kind of how it went. I just saw it as a sign. Like, what better place? He needs help. I left my job. We need to make it happen. We need to provide for our son.
Is that his only job too?
Yes.
So that's just 100%
Échale
that.
ganas.
Wow.
That's why Tool Link will be down below.
That's like
And it was, again, it was so scary. I went from working with kids doing what I did, what I studied for, to like now learning about drills.
Different.
Like, I thought a drill was a drill.
Yeah.
No,
I was like,
tienes en medio, tienes un cuarto. I'm like, un cuarto, like a room, or qué pedo? Like, no les entendía. So now it's like, no, I learned all these different things, all these different measurements. Yo ni sé. Sometimes, like before, when we first started, I was like, dijo que querían, no sé, una jigsaw? ¿Qué es eso? Like, ¿qué hacen con eso?
Yeah, you were like reasoning, you're like, ¿qué es un jigsaw?
But now hasta tengo clientes que regresan, they're like, hola, Denise, ¿cómo estás? I'm like, I got my clients.
So you guys have a store, or do you guys are online only?
Our hope is to get a store soon. Right now, what we do is we sell online, Facebook, OfferUp, and then we also go to the swap meet.
Okay. Wow. A question that I wanted to talk to, or a conversation that I want to have with you guys was, there's a lot of young girls that are going to start looking up to you guys, right? Mm-hmm. You guys are obviously going towards that route, and you guys are going to start getting a lot of DMs about motivation. And you already get that.
Manifest. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How does that feel? Like that you guys, or that you're already seeing that, or that when you guys get those comments?
I think for us it's special. Like I said, we don't have a large following, but sometimes either they see a message or whatever, and then we screenshot and send it to the group chat. Like, wait,
like,
mira lo que dijo.
Like, mira, we inspired them. Like, things like that.
And I think it's nice, like whenever, because they'll say like, oh, I love you guys, or that individual message, like, oh my God, Judith in that part was hilarious. Or like, I could really relate to you, Denise. Or oh my God, Lupe, she's a silent killer. Like, it's just funny things like that makes us like happy. Like, damn, we got something going. Like we really
and especially when you feel like, ay, no soy tan divertida. Like, for example, I know I'm funny. No, but there are moments when you're like, como que te sientes como decaída, and you receive those DMs and you're like, wow, so someone is watching me and they think that I'm funny and they think that I'm this and that, So, pues más bien te levanta el autoestima, Like,
right.
So,
¿Y quién es la más desmadrosa?
No quiero decir.
No,
¿sabes qué? Cada quien tiene su momento.
Yeah, en su momento.
Porque hay veces que, I think...
Pero Lupe sí es más seria. Sí es un poquito más seria. Lupe is a little more... But she's funny too.
No más que yo, dice.
Y sí es desmadrosa también.
Yeah, I feel like we each have our moment.
Right. When you guys go out together and stuff, or you guys just...
Yeah, we do. We go out most of the time.
Like clubbing. I'm talking like clubbing or
clubbing.
You know what? We've never been to the club.
Okay.
Oh, no. I was like, did we go in Vegas? No,
we didn't.
We've never gone to the club, but we go out for drinks and things like that. So we've,
Y es un desmadre.
We
like,
like
we're
that-
the loudest. I know.
We like going to those restaurants that like turn into a club. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
So then estamos en ambiente. Oh, yeah. And then we start dancing. Well, I start
Oh,
dancing.
yeah, yeah.
Denise
yeah, y
does.
nos
Yo soy bailarina. A mí me sacan y yo voy. Yo como trompo.
Denise es de las que...
Yeah.
And, no. Denise, ve, corre, tú ve.
I know they pimp me out. They're like, tú ve.
Tú ve,
Y yo,
tú
ay, okay.
Ya que...
So it sounds like you guys would like have so much fun doing like karaoke. You guys do that too?
We should.
We have never do it.
For real,
but-
I thought you guys had.
You know what's so funny? I feel like sometimes I get shocked because even you said like the connection that we have, but there's so many things that we haven't done. I don't know if to blame COVID for it or what, but like there's so many things that we haven't done. And I feel like we just need to get there and experience it because we would be a mess. We
Yeah.
would be a mess.
definitely.
Yeah. Even like the last time we went out to eat, one of the last times, I almost, you know which one I'm going to say, right? Dude, we pulled she went to go pick me up. We pulled over to Lupe's house and Judith was distraída and I opened the door to get out. And then I noticed that my legs were dragging and I was
Oh
like,
shit!
And I was like, what is
and then
this?
she was like, wait, ¿qué te pasa?
Traes
And I was
sueño, okay?
and
Like,
I-
you wanna sleep?
And I looked over and I was like, the car's moving. The car's moving. She was like, ¿qué? Yo, the car's moving. And I'm like, total scene.
And then you change it to Spanish.
And I was like, que se está moviendo el carro. She's like, ay,
Yo
güey.
volteo,
Así, and we go into her living room.
Oh,
Así,
shit.
así. And then Lupe comes out because we're dying. And Lupe comes out and she's like, what's going on?
I was like, I heard the laughing from my room, and I was just like,
Like,
what's
¿qué
going
está
on? What's going
pasando?
on?
no, casi entramos.
No,
Casi
pues ya.
nos destapamos ahí.
Yeah, so we definitely have our moments. And
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
the moments that we're like, dude, if we would have recorded that,
That would be funny.
dude, no, desmadre.
So the podcast. What are you guys looking to do? What are you guys striving to do with the podcast?
I mean, we're hoping that it grows. We're hoping that, little by little that we can put our vision out there, have a beautiful setup like the one you have here, relate to people, continue to talk about our lives and just things like that.
Yeah.
Little story times here and there, funny moments, vlogs.
So it's like a variety of things. Because you mentioned
we
the vlogs. The vlogs are a part of the.
We tried vlogs because we no longer have our little room with the camera.
Okay.
Because of that, we're like, okay, so ¿qué más? Like, we want to keep going. So we tried the vlog.
Creating content at this point, basically.
Creating content, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I think we had that talk, right? Because I was like, well, are we gonna do this like as a funny thing, or is it gonna be more like talking about topics and be more like serious or things like that? You know,
I think that's what's hard when you think about that, because
I was like, what are we gonna do? Because at the beginning, we started like with funny things y todo, después ya we started como en topics y ya opinábamos and things like that, right? So I was like, are we just gonna do
Es que
this?
la
Because
Judith-
for me, it's no. Yeah, like
We made a video about self-esteem.
Oh, yeah.
And just, things that we struggle with. And Judith was like, honey,
You
I'm
have to
positive.
check that.
What else did we talk about?
I don't have anything.
I'm happy and I'm fine. What's up?
So, and we had a talk. We were like, well, what are we gonna stick with? Like, we're gonna do like funny? Are we gonna just do like kind of like putting information out there or things like that? So we came out to an agreement that it was gonna be like a little bit of everything. Like, like como esta semana or this videos week is gonna be about like funny things, blah blah blah, about our week, about this and that. But there gonna be some other days when we're gonna be like, okay, this is gonna be a little bit more serious.
Yeah, I think we want people, whoever's watching from behind the camera, to feel like they're there. Y estamos like entre amigas o amigos, whatever, hablando.
having a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when you guys first started your podcast, obviously I started it, and and deep down in my mind, I was like, damn, my family's gonna hear, my friends are gonna hear. What if I say something dumb? What if I offend them? Did any of that go in your guys' mind?
Yeah, 100%.
El trauma.
I think out of all of us, I was the more hesitant one to like even go forward and like start it because of those things. My family does know about it. My friends do know about it, but my parents, no. Because my mom's on her YouTube, on her phone. She'd be watching on video. Yeah.
What life experience?
So you guys are trying to be as transparent as possible, right?
Yeah.
But with
Definitely.
that comes obviously things that we kind of don't tell our parents.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that was one of the things where it's like, I don't know.
Lupe, ya es un momento, ya, cállate.
Yeah, me callo.
Keep going.
No, but definitely with my parents, at least, I was a little more like they obviously know like Denise and Judith, but they don't know, we go record. I'll be like, oh, estoy en la casa de Judy. And they're like, okay, but they didn't know like, oh, I was over there
You're
recording. Yeah. My siblings do. And then like,
but they don't snitch on you, so that's good.
No.
So they still don't know that you.
I don't think so. No.
Oh,
One
damn.
day.
You were like,
One day.
Shout
Mom,
out.
you're watching this. What's up?
Planeaba decirte, mom. No hallaba
Sorry.
cómo.
surprise.
For me, well, yo siempre digo que I don't care what other people think, but deep down, I do care. I do care.
That's everyone. That's everyone.
And especially en nuestra comunidad, como Latinos, somos bien carrilludos. Like, they're gonna make fun of you and they're gonna be like, y tú de, ay, no. Cuando yo hago la carrilla, that's good. But when me hacen a mí, no, thank you.
Right.
Nah, sí aguanto. But with my parents, no. They know. They have seen... they have seen the videos. Well, the first time that we ever posted, like the first ever video, right? El primerito. Well, tenemos la cuenta de YouTube ahí conectada, mi cuenta de YouTube conectada in the living room, right?
Yeah,
In the TV,
yeah.
in the living room. Y mi papá was like, ¿eres tú? Y yo de, ¿Dónde? I was in the kitchen y estaba agarrando mi agua because I was like running para irme al trabajo. Y lo dice, ¡esa! ¿Eres tú y tus amigas? Y lo yo, ¡oh, sí! ¡Ya soy famosa! Va, ya, ven. So, yeah, when I came back that same day, my dad was like, Judy, my mom, her name is Judith, igual que a mí, igual que yo. Dice, ¿ya viste a tu hija? Y luego dice, no, ¿dónde? Ahí, en YouTube, con sus amigas, están hablando. And I was like, pa, ¿y lo terminaste de ver o no? Y dice, pues lo vi, pero es que era puro inglés y mejor lo apagué.
Yeah, that's one thing. We're very Spanglish.
Yeah. Pero no, my parents, like, I'm very, like, transparent with my parents. Like, they know everything. Like, si les digo, they nunca me dicen, no puedes ir, or things like that, Like, y si era desde high school, like, I will be like, oh, dad or mom, I'm gonna go with my friends, but here, I'm gonna be back at this time. I'm like, okay, that's fine. As long as I would tell them, estaba todo bien. Pero con mis amigos, when I started doing this, I was like, ay, me van a echar carrilla. And one of them, yeah, they were like, ay, la influencer. Y yo de, oh, pues ya me hiciste follow, aunque sea.
I know, haters.
But yeah, pero de ahí en más, like, I don't really care what they think, like, in a bad way. If they think in a good way, yeah, I do care.
I think for me, I was scared. Yo siempre le pienso. Yo me tramo sola. I'm like, damn, is this what are they gonna freaking say? And just things like that. Especially like, I feel like when you change, like when I left my job, when you leave anything and you start something new, like la gente is like, ¿qué está haciendo?
Right.
Like, what's her next move type of thing. So it's like, she does YouTube, like
Wow.
pedo.
She went from this to this.
And then
or,
it's like, she just YouTube with them. And like, okay, like, so I think I was more like, oh my God, ¿qué va a decir la gente? Like, but honestly, I think the more we've done it, like, I really don't care. Like before I used to be like, oh my God, like, they're like, can I repost your videos? And I'm like, who follows you? Like, I don't know, it's drama,
I need to know.
but now I'm like, why didn't you repost me? Like, you're a hater, It's not, like now I'm like so into it, I don't really care. But in the beginning, yeah, I was like, I know.
And for me,
¿Qué va a
post
decir
me.
la gente? ¿Qué va a decir la gente?
Because you're not really attention seeking, that's why.
No, yo soy bien like, ay,
Tú como que entre menos sepan de ti, like,
they're like,
it's better.
dude, take a selfie, take this. I'm like, I know. Y la Judith.
You're like, no, a mí sí, háganme.
I mean, that's so cool that you guys each have your own separate personalities and individual personalities. So that's what I guess I feel that's what people are going to connect with most. Like how you're saying earlier, that everyone has their personality and their own, pueden conectar con individual, ¿no?
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier before the sweeper came because
La producción. Antes de la producción.
nos iban a dar un ticket aquí.
Y Lupi va a pagar.
about the podcast setup. I just want to let you guys know too that everyone that probably watches, or not everyone, but the majority of people that watch, they probably think that I have this thing figured out, or we know what we're doing here. And like we were talking before, I don't, we don't. Everything is a learning curve. Everything is like, if you guys go back to the first episodes, like I've been switching the podcast setup so many times, but that's because it's just trial and error. And again, the reason why you guys are here and the reason why I wanted you guys here was because of that. I really connected with you guys on that level where it's like, I first started with something where I thought like, shit, like people are not going to want to watch because, you know, it's not how, because I shoot Alan Ice's podcast. So from that to starting my own, it's like a really big difference. So, but I figured out like it's about the individual person, or it's the person behind the camera, or, you know, like the topics that we talk about, or, you know, something like that connects with people. So with you guys, I feel that a lot of people are going to connect because of your guys' individual, I don't want to call them situations, but
life experience.
Life experiences. Yeah. And is there anything that you guys can share with them for them to connect more with you guys about you personally? Like, let's just say something that you've had to struggle with, that has made you, like you mentioned a little bit about depression. A lot of people go through that, but they're not outspoken about that. Are you open about that, or do you talk a lot about that, or is something like a little bit more personal to you?
I think recently I've been more open about it. I think that just the way that I grew up with the struggles that I did, like I said, from being poor, like losing everything, being practically homeless, like having to, you know, my mom having to talk to friends because not even family would take me in, you know, like a friend from high school, like, can she live with you until I figure things out? You know, just situations like that I've been through. But I'm here now. I still went through school. I still did what I had to do. I still try to provide an amazing life for my son. You know, like I try to do things different, but that doesn't take away from the drama, like my trauma. Like I still feel sad. I still struggle with this. I still have days where, you know, I don't feel that my self-esteem is there. Like I'm like, oh, my face looks like that, or I do this, or I'm sad about that, or I'm stressed about this. I'm overthinking about this. I think I struggled through that, and I want to share that because I know I'm not the only one, you know. Right. But I think that's my biggest thing, like just being so low, but the way that I'm shifting my own life, because I do have the power to do that, and I envision so much. Like I know that whatever situation I'm in now, I know this isn't it for me. Like I know there's much more to Denise than what I'm doing now.
You believe in yourself.
I do, and that's not something that came overnight, or I didn't, you know, it took a lot of help. Great friends, a great support system, like my boyfriend, my son, you know, my mom, just things like that. Like seeing her never give up gave me the strength to never give up. You know what I mean? So I think I hope people can relate to that, you know, in some sense.
Yeah. And then, pues obviamente you're good. You're like, you know.
Ella es perfecta.
Todo perfecta.
You're like.
¿Qué puedo decirles, guys? No,
So si eres perfecta.
Si eres perfecta, you can't relate to me.
It's a tough life.
Like, ¿qué más puedo decir? No, but honestly, like, for me, and we've been talking about this, is because of my accent. And, you know, like, coming from Mexico, obviamente totalmente el lenguaje diferente, you know, even, especially when you move up, when you're older, pues se te queda el acento. Like, no puedes hacer nada. You try, but you can't do anything about it. So, I mean, échale ganas. I mean, como te digo, llegas a la escuela, te ponen las pilas, like, you try your best. I know everybody's situation is different. Like, para mí, gracias a Dios, like, I had my parents, they will support me and everything. I got my master's, so obviously, yeah, lo agarré, pero no todos tienen esa oportunidad. But, like, try your best, you know, like, wherever you are, wherever la situación que te ponga la vida, just try to overcome that. Y pues échale ganas. That's the only thing that I will say.
But I actually fuck with your accent. I like it. I mean, because you're really confident about it.
Pues,
no es como,
no, yeah.
You know what I mean? No es como que, like, you're afraid to talk, because there's obviously people that don't even want to speak English because they feel like, oh, they're gonna make fun of me, or they feel that, como, you know, that behind their head.
Honestly, por mí no me importaba, but there was one comment, and it was at work, that made me like, como que me hizo dudar, and I was like,
yeah.
No, and we had to remind her.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah, and you guys were like, because I will tell you guys, you know, like, oh, me sentí como bien, like, me decaí, me agüité machín. And they were like, no, dude, like, no, tú lo hablas perfecto, dude. Yeah. Like, well, I know.
Half the time, I feel like, especially if you have a second language, like, half the time I'm talking like this, y ya más a rato estoy en otro idioma, and I'm like, when did I I'm sorry, do you understand me?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I just spit, you know what I mean? But I've always told her, like, you're an inspiration to someone.
Yeah,
because
there's a
people
lot
don't
of
feel
people.
comfortable.
There's
Like,
a lot of people out there that don't even want to try to speak
yeah.
English, you know, and you're trying, and you give them that confidence to be like, you know what?
But exactly. Now that I see it that way, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm proud because I'm like, okay, puedo hablar bien el español y también hablo el inglés, you know? So not everybody can do that.
Because I'm the same with the Spanish. Para mí el español, sí hay unas palabras que no. Que me trabo o no sé decirlas like proper. Like I don't speak proper Spanish. You know? Even English, I'm fucking bad at English. Like, fuck, I'm fucked up. Ni de aquí ni allá.
Yo tampoco, yo aquí me
I don't have an accent, pero yo ni sé ni inglés ni español. Yo por eso, if I start one way and I end up one, because
they always hype me up with that. Like, no, wait, tú hablas bien, tú hablas bien.
Yeah, even doing this, like I feel like if I'm having a conversation with you without the cameras, like yo te voy a hablar like paisa, you know, like yo te voy a hablar, hey, wait, ¿qué onda? You know, like that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to obviously trying to generalize and talk to a public, then it's a little different because you have to speak a little bit more correctly, you know? Mm-hmm. What about you?
So I think for me, and this has like been recently brought up in the podcast, when we did the self-esteem video, I talked about like I undergoed open heart surgery as a child. So like dealing with like the self-esteem of like the scar that it left me, dealing with the acceptance of it, dealing with like people like thinking it's ugly, people like making comments on it, you know. And now as an adult, I don't really care, but I mean, as a, like growing up, you know, it does like affect you, and it does hurt, you know. So that was one of the things where I was just like, you know, I started opening up and talking to you guys about it a little more. It's definitely something now that's not so much of like a touchy subject. I'm more like open to talking about it, and I'm more open. Like I definitely see it in a different perspective, but it was hard, like growing up, and like, you know, you want to go to the beach with your friends, but then it's like you have this scar, so you don't want to show it. So then it was always like t-shirts, and like, you know, just growing up too, is just like I always hid it. I never would like, if somebody asked about it, I would just be like, oh, it's just a scar, and I would just leave it at that. But yeah, I would always wear shirts like always like covered everything up because it is pretty defined, I feel. But definitely it is something that I'm still working on, like, you know, fully accepting it and fully, you know, loving myself and
I like how you guys use comedy to
cope.
To cope.
You know,
I really want to cry now.
because I mean, everyone tries to find a way to cope with their feelings, you know, like for me it's working hard and just getting distracted with work.
Yeah.
But you guys obviously have each other to just talk shit.
Yeah.
So it's like you guys
Cuando Lupe, I was like, Lupe, ¿vas a ser monja? Why are you wearing like, you know,
Lupe, you're a survivor. It's not sexy.
la que no enseña no vende, Lupe. Like,
Okay, so these last 5 minutes, I want you guys to promote the shit out of your guys' podcast. This is your guys' time to
shine.
promote.
that camera.
Showtime.
A ver, cada quien escoja una cámara.
Esta es la mía.
So definitely I would say we're more Latino cultural bound. We talked about our upbringings, different parenting styles that we all face. You know, Denise had a single mother. Judith was raised in Mexico. My parents were from Mexico, but
Yo ni sé ni qué.
Yeah, no sé qué de qué.
No sé cómo crecí.
My mom's family is from Central America, so it's like the difference, and even just like the words that I hear at home that are different than the words that Judith hear, our food differences.
Oh yeah, we want to do one podcast about the food,
you know,
because we have different ones.
Yeah, upbringing too. Like I had strict parents. Judith had semi, like no strict, but
Chill.
like chill. And then Denise was
Pues Denise.
donde quería ir, pues she went,
go.
you know.
Pero me
So
porté bien.
we definitely do touch base on that. You know, talked about being first generation, going to school, going to college. So definitely like
Check us out.
check us out.
Yeah, check us out. Check out our page. We talk about
And now, on the page on Instagram, we're doing more reels. Right? Yeah, that's called reels. So ya estamos treintonas. I know, well, Lupe, tú no. But yeah, like we're starting to get into reels. No nos salen muchotes, but we're getting there. So, and we do those like to make, para que se rían, pues, you know, like, pues that's Instagram, basically, para que te rías. You find funny videos, and that's what we want to pasarle a la gente, you know, that we're funny, that we're like, we relate to them as well. That's why we do, for example, when Lupe mencionó el de college, you know, porque son diferentes cosas y hay muchos niños, o no niños, like jovencitos que apenas van a entrar al colegio and they were like, oh, should I go straight to university or should I go, you know, y cada quien tiene sus views. Like for me, it's like, don't get loans. Lupe dice get loans, you know, everybody has different.
Get loans.
Tú quieres el dinero.
y así van a... you guys can experience them.
Vayan a ver para que digan
Also, me
que
and
sí.
Judith
She was
fight a
like,
lot. So if you like that,
yeah.
So va a haber peleas.
So you can relate, you know, that's why we do this. So other people can relate to us. Y check us out because we're funny.
We get it. And I always say, if there's something that you guys want us to talk about or discuss, man, always let us know. Like I said, we've all experienced different things in life. So I'm pretty sure all of us can share our point of view on certain things. But yeah, check us out.
And
Give
they
us a
can
chance.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to leave their links down below. Make sure you guys go check out their page. Make sure you guys go check out. What is your company name?
Deluju. Oh, Toolbox TRD. If you guys want some tools, help a sister out.
Toolbox
TRD.
Okay. This episode is sponsored by Toolbox.
Órale, grita el cheque, güey.
It's gonna bounce, but lo escribo.
En blanco.
So make sure you guys go check out their page. I'm going to leave all their links down below as well as their Instagram, their TikToks. Todo. That way you guys can go. Make sure you guys go follow them. Like always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here all the way to the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Chingonas. We did it.
That was good.
We survived. Oh my God, how exciting.
you didn't harvest our organs.
No nos mató. No, I'm just playing.